Well, there's a lot of uproar over the recent reassessment. Everybody got their letter about last week, thereabouts. So we heard from organizers of a group in Indiana that put together a Facebook page for people to vent, if you will. We've gotten calls here today. We thought we got to get the other side of the story as well. So we have all three commissioners, and we've got Tim Barr. Now, Tim, you're the VP and Evaluator of Services and Technology. You're the assessor.
Yes, sir.
You're the guy.
I'm the guy. I'm the guy that our company assisted the county in this project with data collection and determining these initial values. And we have a call center set up that folks can call to get an appointment to make sure their property is properly assessed.
All right, a lot of people, at least that I've seen on email and calls today, they don't think they've been properly assessed. It's as simple as that. It's got to be the toughest job in town to do this. It's been a long time. Rod, how long has it been since the last assessment?
47 years. Bill.
47 years. So values go up. Now, I hear things like, I'm looking at an email here. My mother-in-law has a little plot of ground on Nolo Hill, $65. It's weeds. $65. It went up to $400, and there's nothing on it. So maybe you can tell us how that happens.
Well, the old values, as Commissioner said, are from the 1960s. So they don't really relate to today. We have to look at what the property would be valued at today. And what that owner needs to do is to look at the new market value and identify whether that's what they believe the property would sell for on the market. If they don't think that it's correct, then they can go to the informal review and present things about the property that we might not know, and that could result in a change. They could also go to a formal appeal if necessary. But most folks are going to avail themselves of that informal review process initially.
Which they can go to the Indiana Mall. There's a station set up in the mall.
Well, they can call the toll-free number that's in the upper right-hand corner of the notice,
okay.
And from there they can make an appointment to come to the mall. If they want to stop by the mall and pick up the taxpayer's guide or other information or use computers there to search other people's property, if they don't have a computer at home, they can visit the mall for that starting Thursday. But to actually meet with someone, they're going to need an appointment.
What do you tell the people? I had a phone call today from a guy. He said, my mother, fixed income, she's 80 years old, and very small fixed income, very small tax assessment. But going into this one, it went up $2,900. He says she now has to sell her house. What do you tell people?
Well, the first thing we would do is let's make sure we have the right value on it. You're identifying probably, though, the most difficult part of any reassessment. We know reassessment's revenue neutral, and it's going to be an equalize. So if she's going to pay more, that means someone else is going to pay less. But for those that see increases where they have maybe only been paying a small amount for a long time, that's the toughest situation. It really is.
Could it be, we'll go to Commissioner Ruddy, could it be that 47 years, the mistake was not having one before or having a couple before that in that time period?
Well, you're on target, Bill. We're not going to try and resurrect the past and place blame. We're trying to correct it so that the future for Indiana County is healthy. This has not been an easy experience for any of us. Mike and Patty, who joined with me today, the three of us got a taste of the frustration I think you exposed today on the air. We were there first thing Monday morning because a lot of people who received their tax notices over the 4th of July weekend were in and very, very upset about the values that they had seen in their tax notice. And frankly, Tim Barr, who is here today, knows that I've even offered my thoughts on that because I heard from one particular property owner in the northern part of Indiana County expressing his deep concern, frustration, for a lengthy period of time on the phone, I might say, about the value of his property, an acre of property that he purchased for a reasonable amount of money that has escalated in value from about $2,000 to about $23,000, which seems, from my point of view, to be somewhat unreasonable, but we don't make those determinations. We are not certified to do that kind of work. Our responsibility is to make sure it's done fairly, turn it back to the EST team, have them come in. Obviously, the gentleman that I spoke to is coming in for a reassessment,
Sure.
Informal interview, I think, Thursday morning. And so hopefully something can be done to mitigate some of his concern. But I think Patty and Mike both have experienced the same kind of concerns with other members of the county. we're not here to create a problem. We're here to fix a problem that has existed for many, many years. And we're taking the heat, and I understand that. That's part of any of us in a leadership assignment. I just hope the individuals in the county realize that we're trying to do the very best that we can based upon the abilities that are out there with our EST team to make sure it's done fairly across the board, and the values are indeed prepared to be certified, I think, by November 15th. So we have some time to review what's been out there and make sure we're doing all the right thing.
Now, as we mentioned, there's a rally tomorrow morning at 7:30 in the parking lot by the Indiana Mall, one at 8 o'clock, 8 a.m. on Friday on the courthouse steps. These people are going to come and signs perhaps, and hopefully everything is peaceful and all that sort of thing. But what can a group like this do? I mean, Tim, what you're saying is you got to follow the process is what I'm hearing.
That's true. And I understand why people get concerned. I understand why they rally. I've read the Facebook posts. The people are asking questions. They're not always getting the right answers from Facebook posts for their questions. So I would encourage them to go to countyofIndiana.org and click on the reassessment page, watch the Understanding Reassessment video, get the Taxpayer's Guide, call the 855-998-3600 number, and go through the process. It's 48,000 properties. We're hearing from hundreds of properties. We've scheduled over 1,500 informal reviews in the first 2 days alone. That's great because I want to make sure that these values are correct and that the description is correct.
I had somebody poke their head in this door this morning and said within the past year at their personal home, the bank came out and they assessed the home for a loan. And they got the assessment. It was $60,000 higher. Now, that seems extreme to me. And those are the kind of people I think you want to talk to.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and they just need to bring some paperwork down and schedule this thing. Like you say, I think the key is you want to get it right. But after 47 years, it's tough to right that ship on one shot.
And unfortunately, Pennsylvania law requires us to do it all at once. You've got to do every property at the same time, mail out these values, and as the Commissioner mentioned, we have until November 15th to certify. So through the informal reviews and formal appeals process, we'll be able to make those corrections through the website, and those same procedures will get people's questions answered.
Also had a couple of calls, Clean and Green. Can you describe that, maybe, Tim?
Certainly. Clean and Green is a law that passed in the 70s, but it's never been used in Indiana County, and that's because they haven't had a reassessment since then. Clean and Green allows properties 10 acres or more in size, devoted to agricultural or forest land use, to pay taxes on their ag value instead of their market value. It is critical that any property that might qualify for Clean and Green seriously consider it. There is a lot of false information out there right now about Clean and Green. Get the booklet from the county website. Ask questions of the assessment office. They're prepared to help people with that and to take their applications. From my experience in many, many county reassessments all across the Commonwealth, Clean and Green enrollment during a reassessment year is always very high and critical to making sure that those folks don't have to pay any more than they need to.
But then again, we've got to say again, at least 10 acres for agricultural use.
Correct. There's other exceptions if they produce enough gross income from agricultural commodities, but that's the predominant group that Clean and Green would apply to. Okay, we had those questions. Mike Baker, County Commissioner, you're getting phone calls as well. What are you hearing?
Well, I've been getting not just phone calls, but visits. And when Rod and Patty and I have all had a very large presence, we make sure that we're available in the tax office as well. But I've had an opportunity not only to talk to a lot of people on the telephone, but I've had some people that I brought over to my office. And some of those people have been very, very frustrated when they first get there. But when they get information that helps them to understand not only the process, but what their next steps may be, they begin to understand the informal and formal appeals process and how these things work. People tend to be much, much more accepting of that process. I would say 90% of the people that I personally have dealt with have been very cooperative and very cordial. I have had a few that have been difficult, but we've been able to work through those.
Looking back, as this process began, and you started saying we're going to have to do this, do you think more education, more public information should have been put out there? I know there was a lot put out there, but
I'll speak to that because obviously I've done this in a lot of counties. Indiana County Commissioners have done everything possible, even to buying ad time on this radio station, to get the message out about this reassessment. There's articles from 2 years ago announcing that this was necessary. Unfortunately, until the notices go out, it's not a priority, and people don't realize that it's going to affect their taxes.
Right.
So we had meetings in every school district based in the county, 7 meetings. Lots of good questions at those meetings, but 50 to 100 people per meeting out of 48,000 properties. Now we're seeing a large volume of other folks, and we're going to handle them through that toll-free call center number, the 855-998-3600. We have to deal with them one at a time now.
Mm-hmm. Commissioner Ivanko, you're under fire like everybody else right now.
Yes, I am, and this is one project that I really feel we can defend. It had to be done. It hasn't been done since 1968, 47 years. It's like a sticker shock now. If it would have been done over the years, it would have been easier to deal with because it gradually would have went up. But right now, it's a sticker shock because you're going from 68 to 2015. And the other thing is that we have been out there, even before we ran, when we were running last time for election, we told them this was our next project that we were going to tackle, and it had to be tackled. Sometimes it's not easy. You have to do the right thing. It's not always easy to do the right thing. So.
Well, there's lots of words, but until people see numbers, they don't find out exactly what is happening, and that's what happened now. And bang, it hit us all right in the face.
Right.
And so it's just a process now. So. Tim Barr, you're the Evaluator Services and Technology. You're saying use the process on the evaluation form, the reassessment form. There is that toll-free number. If you have a problem, call the number.
Absolutely.
And
if they want to do research, start at the county website because there's a lot of good information there. They can also click on the My Property Courthouse Online link and review not only their property, but any other properties in the county right through the password that's printed on the bottom of their notice.
Well, I think it says volumes that our 3 commissioners came over at last minute as we called. We thought it was only fair with the other side talking today. And Tim, for you coming in as the evaluator, thank you so much for coming in. It's going to be a process, but if you have the resources of the radio station if you need them.
Thank you.
Bill, we want to thank Random Broadcasting, too, for allowing us to be on the radio for a long period of time over the last couple of years talking about reassessment and where we need to be. But again, there's a lot more work to be done. We're very pleased. We're getting the word out. And obviously, I think social media has taken its own course of action, but we are still going to stand tall and do what needs to be done for the right of the people of Indiana County.
All right. We thank you all for coming in, and good luck. Good luck to all of you. We do appreciate that. All right. It's Indiana in the Morning, AM 1450 WDAD and 1160 WCCS. We do appreciate all of the commissioners and Tim Barr for coming in today and hopefully clearing some of it up. It's still a very difficult situation.